My name is Porter Jones, and I'm currently the COO of Salt Lake Cable.
Okay, my name is Sonny Rockwell. I am the CFO at Salt Lake Cable and Harness.
I'm Ryan Allen. I've worked for Salt Lake Cable for just under a year. I'm in charge of the operations department.
I needed a solution to our financial accounting at Salt Lake Cable. First of all, let me give you a little background history. I started here last October, so I haven't been here that long. And the first thing I saw when I got here is our ERP system. And I had never seen this one before, nor had I used it. And it's very difficult to use. It's very flat. The reports that you get are just flat PDF reports. If you do dump them into Excel, you get a bunch of garbage because it comes from the tables. There's no ability to drill down on anything, to research, to pull up financial statements whenever you want. Like I said, it's flat. And I was like, this is not gonna work for me. I can't do my job properly with what we currently have. We need to find something else.
Well, the first thing I noticed when coming here, especially coming from a hospital and patient care, is the lack of data. I'm used to having as much data at any time I want at my fingertips, not only to care for individuals, but to manage the entire process. Coming to Salt Lake Cable and in the manufacturing industry, I realized there was not that much data at my fingertips, and a lot of the data was retrospective data. Only things that I could gather a day or two after, maybe a month or two after.
So I spent a lot of time going into our ERP system, exporting Excel files, merging them together, trying to find data that way.
I couldn't even run a balance sheet at all. All I got was the change in the balance sheet from what's happened this year. The first time I saw that, I said, well, I didn't know what was going on in my financials. And then I realized it was our system, our ERP systems, because unless you officially close it, it won't let you do it.
So again, just what was it like before is very time intensive. So there was a lot of going in and searching the database, looking for the right report. And if the right report didn't exist, it meant that we brought in a coder to go in and code something on the back end so that we could export the report we wanted and get it in the format we wanted.
We also noticed that in real time, if the shop was held up because of a machine being down, because of a lack of whatever, we weren't actually able to go and fix the issue.
I want to be able to just drill down on that on my spreadsheet, not have to do a whole full-fledged flat audit, which is the way I feel right now with what we have. If I need to investigate anything, it's like doing a full audit to get to a number.
This makes it very difficult to troubleshoot. Troubleshooting in real time, I think, is extremely important, not only for quality, but also being able to get product out the door on time and watching and maintaining the efficiency of the manufacturing process.
So before we had Synoptix, we spent a lot of time in our ERP system running multiple reports at a time, trying to find the exact data that we needed, using the limitations that they had. And then when Synoptix comes into play, we were able to start to merge reports, start to see what we wanted it, when we wanted it, and how.
So how we came about, or how we got to Synoptix, was we were needing specific reports built so that we could get the information that we wanted from our ERP. So we hired a consultancy group from California to build those directly into our ERP.
But then we engaged them so that we had a help desk, and I started expressing my unhappiness with the software and said there's got to be something out there that can help us.
A couple months into that, we were using him more than we had expected to use, and that really was not supposed to be his function. And so he immediately just came and said, there is a great product on the market that has worked with your actual ERP.
And it was our consultant who led me to Synoptix.
One thing that really drove us to Synoptix in the first place was the fact that Synoptix had already done implementation with our specific ERP. And I noticed in speaking with the sales staff during the sales process that Synoptix has done numerous implementations with various ERPs.
I've done a number of different ERP systems before, and I've never seen one work so quickly. All the links and the background connections were already pre-configured, and they were able to come in, log in even virtually, and get us connected and up and running.
For us, that makes a big difference in both the knowledge, the troubleshooting, and getting it implemented up and running, but also the cost of implementation goes down quite a bit when the ERP has already been tapped, the internal IT staff on the Synoptix end already knows the back infrastructure.
The price was better than a lot of the others that are out there, and I felt like Synoptix did have a better drill down capability than other platforms that we had looked at. It just was the best match for us. It seemed like it was going to be the easiest to use. Some of them were going to require programming and things like that, and we didn't want to do that. So
our implementation for the initial setup was about 60 minutes, and from that point on, everything was up to us and the specific report writers from the Synoptix end to get the reports up and running. So really it was a plug and play because they had been utilized, or because they had worked with the specific ERP that we used before, made it much quicker.
After we were all implemented and set up, we had different individuals from Synoptix come out to us and help us write the reports that we wanted. They had some predetermined reports that they thought were useful, and then they sat down with us, went through a series of reports that we appreciated, that we liked to run, and they've helped us recreate those.
What I found very valuable about Synoptix, it is a very quick integration process. We're able to get reports and information quite quickly. And for me, I don't want to be running reports and spending a lot of time gathering data. So we spend the time up front, and what's been very valuable to us is then it is just plug and play. We get the data in real time without needing to put together much effort.
Before Synoptix came around, I'd have to go collect data physically, walking out to the shop floor, going to workbenches, seeing the status of our orders, or seeing where a job is in the actual warehouse, or spend a lot of time in the ERP system trying to dig through there. With Synoptix in place, I get here in the morning, I pull up my Synoptix dashboard, it gives me the 5 data points that I like to see every morning, and I'm good to go.
before I got here, there's been no budgeting, no matching of budgets, no looking at variances, no looking at change in account balances. It's just been flowing. And they've been lucky because they've made money so they could pay their bills. It's flowed, but we want to find out ways to do some cost savings. And one of those ways is to do a good budget. And our system is not easy, so we want to do this going forward. So that was another reason why we looked at Synoptix. Also, we'd like to have a monthly meeting and go over our expenses. You need to be able to drill down and get that very easy. And that we could do before. So I see that happening in our future.
One of the things that helped me with Synoptix, being new to our company and not having some of the history and the background with our ERP, is that the user friendliness. There was a better user interface, the usability was a lot easier, and so I didn't have to rely on a lot of my colleagues that have been here at Salt Lake Cable for a number of years. I could go in and catch the reports, the data that I needed immediately without having to have all the experience from those that have been around for a long time.
Yeah, the implementation has been great. We've had 2 separate individuals that have focused on different aspects of the manufacturing plant. One individual, once we began the implementation, building reports on the financial side, came very prepared, really helped build out a lot of reports in a very, very fast manner that we're currently using. And then another individual that has a manufacturing background, which was very helpful as we're walking through the type of reports and the type of information that we want. Since he had that background, he knew exactly what we were asking for, how to create it, and set that up for us.
The other advantage of the reports that we have that we weren't getting out of our ERP system is that you can run those reports and then you can drill through. So you can click on any given sales order or any given job order and drill through and see more details where we weren't able to do that in the past.
Working with the Synoptix report writers, consultant, he actually did our first reports, which is income statement, balance sheet, the basics. We've also worked on some dashboard items. We have a manual dashboard that we created before that our CEO likes to see, which takes time every morning because I'd have to manually pull many reports from our ERP system and then put it onto an Excel spreadsheet that I created. And now we're putting those things onto a dashboard. So he'll be able to look at that on his phone.
When it comes to support and development of new reports and data that we need, it's been very simple. We have access to our account managers, a couple of them that have worked with us to develop custom reports, help us train, understand how to use Synoptix. But anytime I need the team, I have access to their calendar. I can pull it up, schedule an appointment, and they'll be there. And we go through the list of items that we have. They take that homework away, and within days later, we have the reports that we need. or the training, even better, the training that we need so that we can do it on our own.
I foresee that we're really going to get a lot of good reports from them and with their help. Couldn't do it without them.
Why I recommend Synoptix is because of the transparency it provides all across the company, from leadership to those that are on the manufacturing floor. It gives real-time, up-to-date information that they need to be able to do their job quickly.
So I would say to anyone else who has an ERP system where they feel that their financial side is lacking and flat and not dynamic, that this is definitely an add-on for them. Sometimes in our ERP and MRP systems, they forget about the financial side. It's all about operations and the plant and what's going on and costing of this and that. And the problem is the accounting side, the financial side, we're the end of the road and we have to clean up everything. And if we can't get to the right data to clean it up, what good is it on the operation, on the floor, if we can't tell them exactly what's going on? We're just flying by the seat of our pants otherwise. So, I think if we want to bring all of our teams together, this is the way to do it. And I have to understand what's going on in our financials, and that relates to the floor. So
we have new conversations that we haven't had in the past. As we walk into the office, the leadership team can get together, pull up the dashboard, look at the reports, see what went out yesterday, see what's coming up to ship today, and take action. From that, we can go run out to the floor, talk to our leads, talk to our supervisors, work with the assemblers, and take action where we couldn't do that before.
One important initiative that we're doing is we want more transparency on the shop floor. So we're creating dashboards for each individual line, for each individual group, even going as deep as customer specific, so that the assemblers and the shop workers really understand what they're doing on a day-to-day, what are their goals, where they're at on a day-to-day basis compared to their goals. And before it was a little bit of a black box, I would say, for the assemblers and the manufacturers. And no one really wants to work in that type of black box. With transparency, you get accountability, and with accountability, you get better efficiencies.
So that's the future of Synoptix for us, is to pull that data and make sure it's easily visible and it helps hold people accountable.
One thing that we have really enjoyed about Synoptix is it is utilizable for operations, for marketing initiatives, for the accounting, for finance. It allows us to get a full picture on the company, not just specific buckets, of which we felt like the ERP did to us. It really only allowed a few people full access and vision to what they were doing. And this is allowing the entire company to have better access to what they're doing and seeing and what they're accomplishing as a whole.
Just the way we do business, the way we look at our data, the way we look at our reporting has just changed. And so compared to where we're doing it before and how we're doing it now, we have data displayed in a different way, in a more effective way.